So beta, our today's question is related with the SHOLA forests. I told you. The question is that in the light of importance of SHOLA forests and grasslands discuss the various threats to those and measures taken for their conservation. So beta, this is a question related with your GS paper 3 of mains examination, right? Because this question is related with the environment. Yes, right. This question is related with the environment and biodiversity. It is related with that. So in this question, you will be seeing that there are 3-4 important things. One is the SHOLA forests. We will have to explain this, that what are the SHOLA forests. And the importance of SHOLA forests is there. Right? This is the second part of the question. And third part of the question is threats to SHOLA forests. Right? And the fourth part of the question is measures taken for their conservation. So these are the 4 parts of the question. Right? So it means, as usual, if we draw a sketch of this, you can say SHOLA forests. I'm writing here SHOLA forests. So in this, we can say the first thing we will cover, that is the introduction. In introduction, we will define the SHOLA forests. We will write about the SHOLA forests. That's what I think. Okay. So first thing is the intro part, right? And second part we can say that is the importance part. Right? That is the importance part. This is the second thing, importance part. Right? Importance part. And third part is there. That is, we can say that is related with the threats, right? And fourth part is related with the, we can say this fourth part is related with the, you can say measures. Right? So these are the 4 parts of this question. Right? So you will plan your answer this way. So in the introduction part, let me start with the introduction part. So first of all, I would like to, you can say, speak little on this, so that you may be you may be able to understand it in a better way. So as far as the SHOLA forests, SHOLA trees, SHOLA grasslands, or SHOLA vegetation is concerned, right? These are found mainly in the Western Ghats. These are, you can say, found in 3 states of the Western Ghats, which is Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Right, so more common there. SHOLA forests. So SHOLA forests are known as basically SHOLA जो name है, right? So that has been taken from, you can say, a Tamil word which is solai. I will just write it for you, which is solai. Solai means you can say tropical rainforest. Means rainforests of the tropical region, right? But it has been, but the SHOLA forests have been categorized today as a southern montane temperate forest. southern region के इंडिया के southern region के montane, those trees, that vegetation which grows on the slopes of the mountains, slopes of the hills, that is the montane vegetation, MONTAIN, montane, right? And temperate, where the conditions are like the temperate region, right? So that is why this vegetation has been given the name of a southern montane temperate forest, right? So these are known as that, right? So the particular characteristic of these trees are that SHOLA forest trees remain, you can say, very short in height, and they grow very slowly. One tree to become mature take about a century's time. So that is the point. And these trees have leaves of multiple colors, right? Leaves of multiple colors. The young leaves you will find of the orange color, red color. And when the leaves become mature, right, they, you can say, adopt various colors. They adapt various colors, right? So that is the. So we are discussing the this topic today because SHOLA forests are under great threat. Great threat means you can say environmental threat, right? Threat due to the human interventions also. It is said that in comparison with the 19th century, today the area under the SHOLA forests has been reduced by 60%. And according to the, you can say, scientists, that environmentalists, that if the trend remains continued, if it is not checked, or if you can say no effective action is taken for the conservation of these forests, then by 2070, probably, these forests will disappear, right? These forests will disappear, right? So that is why the conservation of these forests is important, right? So first of all, we will write about the introduction, then we will move on to the importance, right? We will move on to the right? So this is the question which has been asked by UPSC many times about the SHOLA forests, right? So this topic is important for the preliminary examination also and for the mains examination also, right? Because in preliminary examination, you will be asked a number of questions which I will tell you after writing this introduction, right? So in introduction, we will write that SHOLA forests are found in Western Ghats, right? SHOLA forests are found in Western Ghats, right? Are found in Western Ghats. right? These are spread. These are found. These are found in three states. Three states falling in Western Ghats. Three states falling in Western Ghats. In Western Ghats, namely Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka. Right? Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka. So these are found here basically, Kerala and Karnataka. Right? The foresters have been classified as. The foresters have been classified as. Right? Have been classified as, you can say, southern, right? Southern, mountain, temperate, southern mountain temperate forest, right? From temperate forest. These foresters occur in. These foresters occur in Nilgiris, right? Occur in Nilgiris, Nilgiri hills. All of you must have heard about those, right? Today you will find these hills on your atlas, right? After the class will be Nilgiris, Anaimalai, Nilgiris, Anaimalai, Munnar, Palni Hills, and Agastya Malai. So these are found in these areas, right? Occur in these areas. We can say a Tamil word, Solai. Tamil word Solai, right? Means we can say tropical rainforest. Solai means tropical rainforest, and SHOLA forests and SHOLA forest derive their name from that word. Right? Derive their name from that, right? So you can tailor this introduction according to the need of the question. So I'm giving you extra things also, but that will be your choice.
Sir, third state Kedia?
Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, here I've repeated Kerala. Right, so this is the right. So a name from that word, it is the. So the foresters occur in valleys, right? Valleys with, we can say, with sufficient moisture, and proper drainage, right? With sufficient moisture and proper drainage, right? Sufficient moisture and proper drainage at an altitude of 1500 meters and above. 1500 meters and above. Right? So it is found here. So that is why temperate conditions, we can say there. 1500 meters and above, right? While the
Solai means ke tropical rainforest or temperate rainforest?
Tropical.
Oh, okay, sir.
While we can say the upper reaches, of the hills, right? While the upper reaches of the hills are covered by SHOLA grasslands, right, are covered by SHOLA grasslands. These are covered by them, right? SHOLA forests are characterized by, right? SHOLA forests are characterized by evergreen vegetation. Those are characterized by evergreen vegetation. One is that, right? So they are, we can say, SHOLA trees. SHOLA forest trees are SHOLA forest trees. SHOLA forest trees are, we can say, small sized ones. Are small sized ones, means not all, right, ones with different colors of leaves. With the different colors of leaves, right? So this is about the introduction. In this we have, you can say, talked about the SHOLA foresters. Basic information has been given about the SHOLA foresters in this particular piece of information or part of the question. So beta, see, from this introductory part, right, one is a preliminary point of view, the questions will be asked, right? SHOLA foresters occurs in India, right? Occurs in India. First can be asked, you can say northwestern Himalaya, right? Northwestern Himalaya. This is one. Second option can be Western Ghats, right? Western Ghats. Here we can further do northern Western Ghats, southern Western Ghats. You can also do that. Number three, northeastern, you can say northeastern hills, right? Northeastern mountains. And number four can be Eastern Hill region, right? Eastern Hill region. So these are the four, you can say, alternatives, right? Four choices which are there, and such type of question can be asked, right? So those students who don't have any information about the SHOLA foresters, this question will become difficult for those to answer, right? So this can be asked, right? So one is this, right? So second thing is that the question can be asked that SHOLA foresters, right? SHOLA foresters are, right? Here can be the first statement, right? Evergreen foresters. Evergreen foresters of you can say of a moist region, right? Evergreen forest of moist region, right? Number two, deciduous forest of average rainfall region. Average rainfall region, right? Number three, are found in the region. Are found in region where rainfall occurs. Where rainfall occurs both from southwestern and northeastern monsoon winds. Northeasterly monsoon winds. So this question, this can be there, right? Most winds, right? And four are tropical, right? Evergreen forests. So this can also be asked. So evergreen forests. So this is there, right? So now the choices can be, one choice is one only, right? Second choice can be, we can say, second choice can be there 1 and 2, right? And the right 1 and 2, right? And the third choice can be, we can say, third choice can be 3 and 4, and the fourth choice can be, we can say, can be 1 and 3, right? So you may be asked to choose the right. So which is the right answer of these? Yes, which is the right answer? Tell me, please tell me. Not able to tell?
One only, sir.
Okay.
I guess 1 and 3.
Okay.
1 and 3, sir.
Okay. Right. 1 and 3 is the correct answer of this, right? This statement we have yet
Okay,
to
sir.
cover, right? We have yet to cover. So I mean that you can say different types of questions can be asked, right? Related with the SHOLA foresters, right? So such type of questions usually UPSC asks. So that is why I am covering this also along with this, right? So the next is the importance of SHOLA foresters, right? Importance of SHOLA foresters, right? Importance of SHOLA foresters. So beta, just take a wild guess that what can be the importance of this forest. Just a wild guess. Leave it. So as far as the you can say wild guess is as far as the importance is concerned, let me speak with you. The first thing is that SHOLA forest trees don't have any commercial value. This is the point. Why not any commercial value? Because number one, the trees are small size trees, right? Their height doesn't grow much. One thing is that. And the second thing is that it takes very long time for a SHOLA tree to mature, as I have already told you, approximately 1 century. So beta, that is why the wood of the SHOLA trees, right, doesn't have any, you can say, commercial significance, right? So they are commercially not important, but they are important in 2-3 respects. Number one, right, scenic beauty. They add to the scenic beauty.
Yes, sir.
Of,
they might be beautiful, sir. Yes, sir. And
of the
many colored leaves.
Of the Western Ghats. So they add to the scenic beauty of the Western Ghats, which are attraction of the tourists, right? So many tourists visit the Western Ghats. So one point is that. And the second point is that they have important role in the, you can say, biodiversity of that region, right? Because many species, you can say, stay there, right? In those regions, in the SHOLA forests, you can say, they provide a habitat to many species which are threatened also. Many of the species are threatened also. So this is the second significance. But the third and the most important significance is that SHOLA forests, you can say, are an important source of water conservation in that region. This is the most important significance of the SHOLA forest, right? These are these have a great significance in water conservation in the region, right? Water conservation in the region. That is why the SHOLA forests are known as the, we can say, overhead tanks of that region also. Overhead water tanks of that region also, right? Because the SHOLA forests and the SHOLA vegetation, SHOLA grasses are very dense grasses, you can say. So when the rain occurs, when the downpour occurs, So at that time, you can say it takes time for the rainwater to move, you can say, forward, right, through the shola grasses, shola grasslands or shola vegetation, right? So beta, that is why we can say that you can say these shola forests, we can say, help in recharging of groundwater in that region, number one. If the shola forests were not there, the rainwater would have, you can say, flow down from the hilltops immediately, right? And you can say it would not stop there for sufficient time, right, to you can for the groundwater to be discharged, right? Because actually, what is flood? Flood is that water which cannot be absorbed by the land, right, when the rain happens, right? So when the rain happens, then water moves on the surface of the land, right? And a lot of water is, we can say, absorbed by the land itself through its surface pores in the soil and surface, maybe pores of the. So, and the remaining water, that water, you can say, fled away into the streams, through the streams. And sometimes when the quantity of that water increases, the streams overflow, and that leads to the floods also, right? So that is there, right? So basically, there is one river, Bhavani River, right? So which has its origin in the shola forests, and that you can say Bhavani River is a river of two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, right? It runs in the, we can say, east direction from Kerala, right? And you can say shola forests fed water into that river, right? So fed water to that river, which is Bhavani River. And Bhavani River, you can say, further, you can say, empties into the Kaveri River, right? It empties into the Kaveri River. So we can say Bhavani River is a tributary of river Kaveri. So this way, the water from the shola forests is collected into the Bhavani River, and that water is carried into the Kaveri River. So in this way, shola forests have an important role in the prosperity of the farmers of Kaveri River Delta, right? In the prosperity of the farmers of Kaveri River Delta. So that is why this is the importance of the shola forests, right? So never write there, right? So if UPSC asks you the question, right? So shola forests, right? Shola forests are important, right? In respect that, sorry, number one, right? They you can say helping harvesting of the rainwater, in the region, right? Rainwater in the region. Number two, right? Respect that they provide habitat, right? Provide habitat to many, we can say, threatened or endangered species, or endangered wildlife species, endangered wild type species also. Right? So this is the species. Right? So third statement can be right. The SHOLA trees, that the SHOLA trees, right? SHOLA trees have a great commercial significance. Great commercial significance, right? Due to the nature of wood provided by the SHOLA trees, provided by the trees, right? Provided by the trees. And number 4, they are fire-resistant tree species. They are fire-resistant tree species. So let's suppose these are the statements which have been given there by the UPSC, and below are given the quotes, right? So first, in this, you can say write one only, and in this second option you can say they can write 1 and 2, right? And in this third option you can say they can write, you can say 1, 2 and 3, right? 1, 2 and 3 only, right? And in the fourth option, right, they can write here 1, 2 and 4 only. So let's suppose these are the statements, right? 1, 2 and 4 only. So these are the statements. So question can be asked this way also, right? So now what will be your answer?
1 to 4.
Okay, 1 to 4.
Yes, sir. D 1 to 4.
D part, sir. 1, 2 and 4.
Okay, D part. Okay. Okay. Its answer is B. Right? Its answer is B. 1 and 2.
वो ही तो सर फायर रेजिस्टेंट कहाँ से हो गए वो?
कैसे?
वही ना सर, फायर रेजिस्टेंट थोड़ी ना होंगे.
Beta, one species of SHOLA trees is fire resistant even, right? So not all species, right? So we will do that, right? So beta, this is basically the question, right? So the question can be asked this way also in the UPSC examination. So is it clear, beta? Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beta, now importance of SHOLA foresters. Let me write. So right here, because you demand that, you can write that those SHOLA foresters are not important from, right? Not important from commercial point of view. Are not important from commercial point of view, right? Because of their, from commercial point of view, because of their slow growing nature. Because of their slow growing nature. Because of their slow growing nature, right? Which takes about a century. Which takes about a century for a SHOLA tree to mature, right? For a SHOLA tree to mature, right? And the timber produced by the trees is almost worthless. Right? Timber produced by the trees is almost worthless, right? But still, they are considered important. right? Considered important, right? Because of their role, in conserving water supply, right? Water supply of you can say streams of you can say Nilgiris, right? Streams of Nilgiris, right? So this is the first passage which we chosen here of Nilgiris, right? So the next passage is I think I have already explained this to you, right? The next is we can say due to this, right? Sorry, due to their use in protecting source of water supply, water supply, right? Water supply. The SHOLAs are known as the SHOLAs are known as overhead water tanks also. SHOLAs are known as overhead water tanks also, right? The rain we can say received, right, from southwest and northeast, right, and northeast monsoon is harvested by the SHOLA forest, right? Is harvested by the SHOLA forest grassland ecosystem, right? SHOLA forest grassland ecosystem, leads to the formation of Bhavani river, that finally drains into Kaveri, right? That finally drains into Kaveri river. Therefore, you can say SHOLA, right? Therefore, SHOLA forest grassland ecosystem of we can say Nilgiris, of Nilgiris support the prosperity of Kaveri Delta farmers, So this is the right? So this is the importance of these you can say forests, right? The importance of these forests. So is it clear about the importance? Right?
Yes, sir.
So because these are the unique natured forests of that region, right? So that is why these are important also, right? So this is there. So next thing is threats, right? So what are the various threats to the SHOLA forests? So next point is better threats. Right? What are the various threats to the SHOLA forests? So as far as threats are concerned, right? So I will tell you that we can say first threat is from the pastoral communities of the region, right? Pastoral communities of the region, they keep on wandering, right? And they used to clear the SHOLA grasslands or forests, right? For their habitation and for the agriculture purpose also, for the cultivation of the crops also, right? So that is why you can say, they usually burn the shola grass, right? And when they burn that, right, so that you can say injure or that hurt or that you can say harm the shola trees as well, shola forestas as well, because there is only one you can say shola tree species, right, that can tolerate fire. Rest of the species cannot tolerate fire. So that is why the one threat is from the pastoral communities of the region, right? So
क्या tolerate करते हैं?
Fire, beta fire.
Fire, okay.
Right. So one threat is from, we can say, the pastoral communities, right? So pastoral communities. One threat is that pastoral communities of the region. So beta pastoral communities करते क्या है? They burn the, right? They burn the shola grasslands. Right, they burn the shola grasslands and trees, right, and trees, right, and trees, right, and cut trees, you can say, or burn trees, right, and cut or burn trees also, right, to clear land, right? To clear land for their habitation, and farming, agriculture, for their habitation and agriculture, right? And agriculture. So they, you can say, pose threat to the shola forests in that region, right? Because next we can say that except one species, right? Except one species, right? The other species of shola trees, are, we can say, flammable, right? Or we can say flammable and slow growing. So this is the next characteristic, right? Flammable तो है, जब उसके साथ दूसरी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक आ जाती है स्लो ग्रोथ, तो जब एक बार प्लांट डैमेज हो गया तो फिर उसको दोबारा ग्रो करने के लिए उसको बहुत ज्यादा टाइम लगता है. सो दैट इज व्हाई फिर वो फॉरेस्ट का एक तरह से परमानेंट लॉस हो जाता है, राइट? सो द ओनली स्पीसीज ऑफ शोला ट्रीज व्हिच कैन टॉलरेट फायर, the only species of shola trees which can tolerate fire is the only species of shola trees. Species of shola trees which can tolerate fire, is, we can say, rhododendron, right? The rhododendron, rhododendron, right? So Nilgricium, 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 right? So this is the only species which can tolerate fire, right? So rest of the species of shola trees can't tolerate fire, right? So this is the one thing. Right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, why some trees are like fire resistant means? What is the quality in them?
They have developed, you can say, some characteristics like that. So some chemicals may be there,
okay, sir,
in those trees, right?
Okay, sir.
So that is there. So, and moreover, you can say these trees retain more water also, right? So if the water content will be more, then the fire would cause less damage as comparatively. So that is also there. So this is the one point, that the pastoral communities, right? And the second, yes, beta, evolution will be. So, and the second point we can right here that introduction of, we can say, introduction of invasive species. Introduction of invasive species. Invasive species. Invasive species, beta invasive species, and we can say alien, alien plant species, right? Alien plant species, right? Beta invasive species, or we can say alien plant species, right? जो बाहर से आए, right? So जब आप कोई invasive species बाहर से ला करके इंट्रोड्यूस करते हो, तो वो अपनी सर्वाइवल के लिए, क्योंकि एक नए एनवायरनमेंट में आता है, उसका जो सिस्टम है उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने का, राइट, तो वो ज्यादा एक्टिव हो जाता है, ओवर एक्टिव हो जाता है, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दैट पर्टिकुलर plant species, right, become, you can say, aggressive, and it harm the other local species also. So this also happens. This is also a strategy of the life, right? So introduction of invasive species and the alien plants, right? So beta, during the British period, particularly during the, you can say, 19th century, approximately towards the mid of the 19th century, right? Some species from outside were introduced in this region, right? Were introduced in this region, right? Particularly, acacia was introduced from Australia, right? Eucalyptus was introduced from, you can say, Australia and that region. So those invasive species become too much aggressive that they, you can say, start dominating in that region, right? And the SHOLA trees, you can say, and they start outnumbering the SHOLA trees there, right? So that also, you can say, is responsible for harming the SHOLA forest in that region, right? Harming the SHOLA forest in that region, right? So let us write the explanation of this also, right? We can say, moreover, introduction of invasive and alien, invasive and, we can say, alien plant species, right? Alien plant species are also a threat to them, are also a threat to the existence, a threat to the existence of SHOLA forests, right? SHOLA forests, existence of SHOLA forests. So this is the, right? So during the British rule, right? During the British rule, we can say, some alien species, right? Some alien species, right? Some alien species, we can say, like sticky, right? Like sticky, we can say snake root, sticky snake root. This is the name of the plant, sticky snake root, right? And Scotch broom, right? Were introduced, which have, right, which have encroached upon the land. So, which have encroached upon the land, under SHOLA forests, right? Encroached upon the land under SHOLA forests, right? And vegetation. Similarly, in 19th century, maybe 19th century का ही था, ये और हुआ. In 19th century, you can say, right? In some species like acacia, right? And eucalyptus, right? And eucalyptus, we can say, right? Pine and cypress, pine and we can say that cypress were introduced, right? CYPRS, cypress were introduced, right, from Australia, right, from Australia. The growth of these you can say alien species, alien trees, you can say, right, alien trees or plants, right, caused the degradation and shrinking of original forests and grasslands, right? Original forest and grasslands, right? Original forest and grasslands, right? So this is the second part, right? Which is the second part, which is there, right? So second point. So the third one is that, is it clear? Second point is clear to you? It's quite simple.
Yes, sir.
And the third point is with unscientific agricultural practices in the unscientific agricultural practices in the region, right? Practices in the region, right? So this is the unscientific agricultural practices in the region. So as far as the unscientific agricultural practices in the region is concerned, that means that we can say that on the hill slopes, tea plantations have been introduced by removing the SHOLA forests, right? Tea plantations have been introduced. So with the introduction of tea plantations, right? So tea plantations introduced. So let's suppose this is the, you can say, slope of the land, right? This is the slope of the land, right? And this slope was, you can say, covered by the SHOLA forests were there. SHOLA trees were there, dense SHOLA trees were there. Right? So, and better in this age of commercialization, in this age of, you can say, where the money is dominating, right? So better this, these, you can say, trees have been cleared, right? And the land has come under the, you can say, cultivation of the tea, right? Or tea plantations. The land has come under the tea plantations, right? So better that is why this has caused, we can say, harm to the SHOLA forests there, because these are the mountain forests. These grow on the, we can say, high slopes of the hills, right? 15 meter or we can say above that. So better that is why, right? So tea plantations have caused a loss to this, right, to great extent, right? And the second thing is better, and the second loss is caused by, we can say, cattle grazers, right? So cattle grazers, they caused the loss into cattle grazers, right? Cattle grazers. So this is the next loss caused to the SHOLA forests, right? Cattle grazers. And the next thing is that fuel wood collection, right? Fuel wood collection by local people, that has also caused a loss to this local people, right? So that has also caused a loss to the SHOLA forests, right? The local people. So better this is about the, we can say, loss caused by the unscientific practices there, right? Or we can say negligence. So, to some extent, we can say that also, right? So better, you can say these are the three important things as far as the, we can say, from the agriculture, from the farming point of view is concerned. One is this introduction of the tea plantations, we can say, right? So one is this, we can say, right? And the second we can take is that, right? Second, we can take is that from this only we can take introduction of we can say wattle. Wattle is acacia, right? Acacia is known as wattle also. Introduction of wattle, and third is we can say introduction of the eucalyptus also, right? Eucalyptus plantations also, right? So this is the basically unplanned plantations there, right? Or we can say plantations without thinking their effect on the SHOLA forests of the region, right? So that is why this is the reason that why the SHOLA forests are declining here in that region, right? And the next point we can say that the next point which can be said that we can say the climate changes, right? The next point is which we can say the fast occurring climate changes, right? Climate changes, right? Climate changes. So beta, as far as the we can say climate changes are concerned, beta. So with the climate changes, we can see that there we are noticing the very different type of climatic conditions, climatic situations, weather situations which are taking place, right? Climatic conditions which are taking place, which are changing. We are seeing those, right? Climatic conditions we are seeing, right? So as far as the climatic conditions is concerned, because so this is quite, you can say, astonishing fact that in 2015-16, right? In 2015-16, right? Kerala experienced, right? Kerala experienced, we can say, experienced, right? Back to back, we can say, droughts, right? Kerala state में droughts का होना, right? This is quite, you can say, astonishing, we can say, right? So it experienced back-to-back droughts in that time. So one point is that, right? And the second point is there, beta, which is further important. This point is also important, beta, that we can say that there was seen, one is this, right? So in some parts of that region, right, extreme rainfall, right, in Nilgiri region, extreme rainfall, right? So beta, you can say, as far as the rainfall is concerned, I am telling you, in Nilgiri Hills, there is one region which is called the Madhai region, right? So in that region, beta, in 2019, the rainfall occurred 900 mm in 24 hours. In 24 hours. Just imagine, beta, in 24 hours. So that means, beta, what is here? 900 mm in 24 hours means, right? So more than double than the annual rainfall in this region. Annual rainfall in this region. So this is quite astonishing, beta. This is the visible impact of the climate change on this region. Double than the annual rainfall in this region. 900 mm से half rainfall उस region में पूरे साल में होता था, और 24 hours में जितना एक साल में rainfall होता था उससे डबल, right? 900 mm in 24 hours, and beta, and 2500 mm in 2500 mm in just 4 days. In just 4 days, right? It means, beta, the nearest, you can say, plain city there is of Tamil Nadu's Coimbatore city. Coimbatore. You must have heard about the Coimbatore. Everybody must have heard about Coimbatore, right? So Coimbatore is a city of Tamil Nadu. Beta, in that city, Coimbatore, right? Coimbatore, the average annual rainfall occurs 600 mm. So just imagine 4 times of the average annual rainfall of Coimbatore, right, occurred in just 4 days in that area of SHOLA forest in the Nilgiri Hills, right? So obviously such a, you can say, huge flow of water could not be, you can say, absorbed by the land immediately, right? And that water will flow into the streams, and that will cause the floods, right? And when the floods and caused at that time, the loss to the vegetation happens, right? So that is why loss happens to vegetation, because sometimes droughts occur, sometimes extreme rainfall occurs. So due to all these things, right? So the vegetation is, you can say, affected there. That is also one. And one more important point here is that you can say the warming rate of waters in the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal is much higher than the warming rate of the Indian Ocean waters, right? So ocean waters warming rate is 0.8 to 0.9 degrees Celsius, right? But on average, but in the last 120 years, right? So in Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, the average, you can say, rise in temperature of these two water bodies has been recorded 1.1, 1.2%. So due to this, we can say, right, overheating of the Arabian Sea region also, right, in the last 4 years on the western coast also, right, eight cyclones have been, you can say, experienced there, right? Otherwise, it was common that, right, western, you can say, coast of India is not that much threatened by the cyclones, right? So as you can say, the eastern coast of India means the Bay of Bengal side, right? But in the last 4 years, 8 cyclones have hit the, you can say, western coast of India also. So when these type of climate changes are occurring, so obviously there is problem of the adaptability. There is problem of the extreme weather conditions, right? So that creates stress on the vegetation. That creates stress on the forest trees, plants also. So that also, you can say, cause the loss. Is it okay, Beta? That also causes loss. Can we get this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so the next reason which we can say is that is the unregulated and we can say unplanned tourism. That is also reason behind the loss, right? So unregulated and we can say unplanned tourism, right? Unplanned tourism that has also brought destruction to the region, right? So it has also brought destruction. This is also responsible for destruction, right? Destruction, because due to the tourism, right? So we can say concretized paths or roads have been built in the region, right? Concretized roads or paths have been built. Roads or paths have been built there. Paths have been built. So obviously, for the building of those roads and paths, right, the vegetation or the forest need to be cut off, right? The vegetation or forest would have been cut, obviously. Vegetation or forest would have been destroyed, right? Forest would have been destroyed in that region, would have been destroyed. right, would have been destroyed in that region. So that is the one point in this regard, right, in this region, right. So next is, we can say, littering of, right, littering of garbage and plastic waste, right, littering of garbage and plastic waste, that is also causing harm to the vegetation of this region, right, littering of garbage and plastic bags, right, is also causing harm there to the vegetation, right, causing harm there to the vegetation. So beta, these are the various threats, right. So beta, one thing which I am going to tell you important here, that for your examination, beta, do one thing. See beta, whenever there is the question relating to this, means the relating to the loss to the vegetation or loss to the forest, right. So beta, some common points are there, right, some common points are there, right. One is the, you can say, that is the interference into the forest, right. One is this common point, right, interference into the forest, right. So as far as the interference is concerned, right, interference by the, we can say, right, interference by the pastorals, you can say, right, pastorals means tribal people also, right, pastorals, right, or interference by the human, by the you can say non-pastoral individuals, right, non-pastoral individuals, right, individuals for the purpose of cultivation, agriculture, right. So, or right, and third is, we can say, disturbance by the interference by the government authorities, right, by the government authorities, right, for the purpose of, we can say, development, right, for the purpose of mining, right, they are interfering in that, clearing the forest, right, for the purpose of mining, for the purpose of infrastructure building, right, like roads, rails, etc., right, infrastructure building. So that is also one point, right? Infrastructure building, right, or for the purpose of industrialization, right, for the purpose of industrialization, right, industrialization, or for the purpose of developing the residential colonies, right, for the purpose of developing the residential colonies. So these are the various, you can say, interferences by the government from this point of view, right. So building of residential colonies there in that, right. So these are the, we can say, one point is this, right. And the second point, we can say that this is the point, no? And the second point, we can say that introduction of external species, right. Introduction of invasive species, so that can be the reason, right. So I am telling you, right, जैसे डॉक्टर्स को मेडिकल साइंस में बेटा पढ़ाते हैं ना कि बुखार के ये रीजन हो सकते हैं, तो सो वैसे ही हम इसको बना रहे हैं, राइट. So introduction of invasive species, that can be the reason, right. And the next point is, we can say, forest fires, right. Increased frequency of forest fires can be the reason, right. And the next thing is better, climate change can be the reason, right. Climate change can be the reason, right. Climate change, extreme weather events which are called by the, you can say, climate change, right. So next is with the irresponsible, you can say, irresponsible, right, handling or management, right, handling or management of the forest, right, management of the forest, right, like you have started using it for agriculture practices and your agricultural practices are not sustainable at all, those are also causing loss, right? And the next point is better tourism, right? Tourism. So these are the various, we can say, important points, right? Tourism. So these are the important points, right? So यही मोस्टली कारण होते हैं हर जगह पे अगर आप देखोगे, राइट? सो फॉरेस्ट के नुकसान के, राइट बेटा? So the next point is that measures taken by the government, right? Measures taken so far. Measures taken. Measures taken. So in this respect, the first measure taken is, we can say, the first measure taken is that we can say, you can say, a complete ban on plantation. Complete ban on plantation of cattle and eucalyptus, right? And eucalyptus since 1987. So one is this measure that वहाँ अब इनकी जो कल्टीवेशन है उसको बैन कर दिया गया है, राइट? इनकी प्लांटेशन को बैन कर दिया गया है. So this is important, right? Since 1967. And next under Hill Area Development Program. Under Hill Area Development Program. Under Hill Area Development Program, right? Seedlings of SHOLA trees, right? Seedlings of SHOLA trees have been, right, planted in various, right? Have been planted in various degraded patches. Planted in various degraded patches, and they are protected with fence. So this is the next measure which has been taken by the government to, right, conserve it. So beta, from these measures you can take the clue that अगर आपको generalized question पूछा जाता है तो वहाँ भी आप any को थोड़ा change करके लिख सकते हैं. So that is there. So next is beta, you can say formation of special SHOLA forest, right? Protection. SHOLA forest protection committees involving, right? Committees involving teachers, right? Involving teachers, nature lovers, we can say ecologists, right? Ecologists, environmentalists, right? We can say and locals, and local people, means locals, right? So इन लोगों को लेकर के ये बनाया जा रहा है, right? They have been motivated to, right, to remove plastic garbage, near, we can say nearby, from nearby forest, right? Nearby forest, protected SHOLA trees, protected shola trees, and remove alien species. Right? And learn about the importance of sholas. Learn about the importance of sholas. Right? Learn about the importance of sholas. So they have been trained for this. Right? Importance of sholas. Next measure, free supply of LPG. Right? Free supply of LPG by Forest Department. To the households. Right? Households. We can say living near sholas. To reduce the burden on forest. Of providing fuel wood to the local communities, right? So that is also done there, right? To the local communities, right? Next here, you can say Tamil Nadu Forest Department. You can say here that Tamil Nadu Forest Department focuses on eradicating wattle. Focuses on eradicating wattle, providing fencing. And you can say planting shola seedlings right? Planting shola seedlings integrated shola, we can say, right, forests, integrated shola forests. So that is also there, right? Efforts are there to save the shola grassland ecosystem. Efforts are there to save shola grassland ecosystems. So efforts are there to save those also, the shola grassland ecosystem, right? So the next, this is about the measures taken, right? So first measure is a ban on the plantation of eucalyptus in wattle. Second is, you can see seedlings of shola trees have been planted in various degraded patches. Third is, we can see involvement of the local shola forest protection committees also, right? And next is free supply of LPG to the households surrounding the shola regions or living in the or nearby the shola regions. So Tamil Nadu Forest Department focuses on eradicating wattle trees and providing fencing and planting shola seedlings in degraded shola forest lands. So these are the various measures taken so far for the protection of this, right? So as far as the conclusion is concerned, we would say that there is no doubt that we can say, right, that sholas are important. And play a major role, in the conservation of water. Right? Conservation of water in the region, and add to the scenic beauty, right? Add to the scenic beauty also, but unfortunately, from we can say 1849 till 1992, the extent of SHOLA forest has decreased from 8,600 hectares to only 4 to 5 hectares, right? 4 to 5 hectares. One thing is this, that it means less than half is there now, right? So such as a big loss has been happening, right? Similarly, SHOLA grasslands, we can say have shrunk, right, from 29875 hectares in, we can say 1849, right? 1849 have shrunk, right? 1849 to, we can say to just 4,700 hectares. 4,700 hectares in 1992. So such a big loss, huge loss is again, right? This is there, right? So in the end, we can say that in the end, so SHOLAs are assets of the region. SHOLAs are assets of the region, right? Assets of the region, right? Those save, right, from floods. Those save from floods and protect the fragile ecosystem. And protect the fragile means weak, fragile ecosystem, right? Ecosystem of the region, right? Providing, we can say, water security also. Providing water security also to this region. Right? Water security also. There is need to address the threats. There is need to address the threats with more concentration. There is need to address the threats with more concentration. Right? Address the threats with more concentration and aggression. More concentration and aggression, right? If this is not dealt with in time, अगर इसको समय से डील नहीं किया गया, dealt with in time, it may have grave and we can say irreversible consequences. Right? Irreversible consequences can be there. Consequences, right? As a strategy, we can say, right? As a strategy, education, we can say, right? Education, strict laws and their implementation, strong willpower, right? And they will strong willpower, right? So we can say the right education and propaganda right? Right education and propaganda. So right education and propaganda, we can say, right? Propaganda, right? We can say of a cultural affiliation of cultural affiliation of you can say SHOLA trees, the SHOLAs with the local people. With the local people should be highlighted. So that people may stop. So that people may stop, right? Over exploitation of SHOLAs, right? Over exploitation of SHOLAs, right? Stop over exploitation of SHOLAs, locos to bachan, right? Over exploitation of SHOLAs, right? And ask state governments of Kerala, right? Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, right? Tamil Nadu, right? We can say should plan a joint program. Should plan a joint program. Right? Joint program for this, right? So उनको किसी joint program बनाने की जरूरत है. So this is how we can conclude it, that it can be done that way, right? So इसके conclusion में हमने लिख दिया कि सच में threat है SHOLAs को, इतनी इनकी जो एरिया है वो डिक्रीज हो चुका है, राइट? और इसको अगर बचाना है, SHOLAs रीजन की एसेट है, वो वाटर प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वाटर सिक्योरिटी देते हैं, फ्लड से बचाते हैं, और अगर इसको बचाना है तो एजुकेशन इज द राइट मीडियम, subject laws and their implementation is the, we can say, other medium, right? And propaganda is another medium. Cultural affiliation, to realize the people that this is important part of our culture, that is another medium, right? And moreover, politically, there are three states should come on a single page and should work out a strategy which should be in the interest of all the three states. Right? So, this is the basically question. What are the SHOLA forests? What are their importance? What are the threats? And what measures have been taken by the government to, you can say, mitigate those threats, right? So, that is the question. So, Bida, anybody wants to ask anything from this particular question? Tell me.
No, sir. Everything is very much clear.
Okay.